What's going on, guys? I'm over here getting absolutely wrecked by this spring weather. I've got the worst hay fever, my eyes are so itchy. But it's going to be a good day. It's an exciting day today. We have Matt and John's FC back, finally. So, if you guys remember the FC, we started the tune on the Mighty FC quite a while ago, but we aborted tune due to wastegate control issues. So John and Matt then took the car and sorted out the wastegate control issues, but that's when we had problems with our dyno. We had to send the module back to Victoria to get fixed, and we actually had 2 weeks there, almost 3 weeks actually, where the dyno was out of action. So in those 3 weeks, Matt and John made plans and got this thing to panel and paint, and so it's been at the paint shop. So it's been over a month now since we started the tune, and it's finally back here, which is awesome. And look how great it looks with the new paint. It looks epic. So what's the name of the actual company that did the paint?
Can you remember, Matt?
What part of Fat Wheels?
Oh, Fat Restorations.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the same guy that actually did the paint on Adam's Cressida, which you haven't actually seen yet because I haven't caught up with Adam. But yeah, it's incredible. What color are the flat? Is it red with gold?
Yes.
Yeah, red with gold.
Yep.
Looks epic. So, anyway, we've got a new wastegate. We've actually got a 45mm external wastegate now. So we should have no wastegate issues with this car. And what I didn't actually realise before, last time when we were doing it, I thought it was a stock bottom end 1J with cams. Turns out it's actually forged. So I've got a forged bottom end, big cams, 3076.8 with a 45mm gate now. The only sort of thing that's going to hold us up is probably going to be stock head bolts. But at this stage, I reckon we might be able to get close to a 450 out of this thing on pump fuel, so very exciting. Anyway, we'll make some room in here, get at the dyno, get the FC on and try and make some power. Righto guys, so we are cracking along with this thing, pretty much the same as last time. It's going to be a monster, but we have had a few issues. The external gate setup is working, it's going to be fine. It is, you know, we are getting up to sort of 18 pound again, but you know, it is controllable at that sort of a boost pressure. I was thinking with this thing maybe running 20 pound and see if we can sort of get how deep into the 400s we can sort of get. But currently we're actually chasing a fuel supply issue. We're sort of just running out of fuel right in the top end. Obviously telltale signs wasn't responding to duties inputs for fuel there, and we ended up running out of injector before it would actually respond. So started chasing a fuel supply issue. We found a few kinks in the feed line on either side of the filter. We sorted that out, which helped a little bit, but we're still running out in the top end. So we've pulled the pump out. The filter on the end of the pump's a little bit dirty, so we'll try cleaning that up, but we're actually just checking the numbers off the pump in regards to our aeroflow catalog. It's an aeroflow pump, and we're actually a little bit concerned that we are going to be running out of pump as well. So we'll get to the bottom of that issue. We've got a few other pumps here we can try. We do have a Walbro 525, which is way overkill for this setup, but it would work. The only thing I'm concerned about is I don't think the wiring for the fuel pump in this car would be sufficient enough to run a 525, obviously being that it doesn't particularly need a pump that big. So I do just have a 255, which we're trying to look to see whether the pump that's in it is equivalent of a 255 or less. And if it is less, we'll try the 255 that I've got lying around as well, and hopefully that will get us there, and we'll continue on with the tune. But again, 18 PSI, not even revving it all the way out because we're starting to lean out a bit there, so I'm getting out of it. and still up around that sort of 380 horsepower, same as last time. So that one was 388, so 390 at the wheels with no timing, and we've still got boost to add, so yeah, pretty exciting. I think this thing's going to be awesome. Like I said, we've got stock head bolts in it, is pretty much at this stage the one thing that's going to really pull it up, and the R154 as well apparently are not amazing. I don't know a lot about them, but Matt and John have pretty much said pretty much anything over 400 they're happy with, and we know that the stock JZ head bolts are good for around that 600 horsepower. So if we're starting to get up around that sort of 450 wheel, we are starting to approach that, you know, high 500 crank horsepower, which is probably starting to get to the limit of the stock head bolts. So pretty much 440, 450 wheel, I'd be stoked to call it at that, and I think Matt and John would be absolutely wrapped with that sort of power as well. So we'll get to the bottom of this fuel issue and we'll keep going. Righto guys, so upon pulling the pump out, we've actually found that the fuel tank's a little bit low. So Matt and John have just raced off to the server to get some fuel, fill up some jerry cans. In the meantime, we've dug out the Walbro 255 we have on the shelf here, and we're actually going to swap that back into this car, because even we checked the numbers on this pump with the airflow catalogue for the amount of power we want to make with this thing, or that we're thinking about making. This pump is only going to be marginally sort of good enough, even if it works to its full potential. Yeah. So we'll be running out of pump anyway. So the 255 that we've got here is going to be much better. From what we've looked at, flow charts and stuff, it should flow about 20% more than the pump that's in it. So we're going to swap that in. That should hopefully fix this issue. So new pump, got rid of all them kinks, put some more fuel in it, and hopefully we can be continuing on our merry way to get this tune sorted. Because I really want to get this done today, because it's a sick car. It's a sick car to add to another pretty good week of stuff, and I just really enjoy it. So Matt and John have actually, in the time since they bought this car to us and we bought a tune and then it's been painted, they've actually started on another car, which is already like coming along pretty well. So Matt and John don't fluff around, they definitely get in and get stuff done, which is awesome, and I just really enjoy all their cars. They're all really well done. Rightio guys, unfortunately we've had to abort tune once again with the RX7. The 255 that we put in, it sort of worked for one run, and then the next run it was just dived in pressure. It was all over the place, just loading it up in steady state, so there's obviously something going on with that pump. It's just going straight in the bin. It is the one that we chucked in the Zach Skyline, and then when Zach changed it out when he was here, he left it outside for a few nights, so who knows. Either way, for the cost of a new pump, it's just not worth bothering with. We're going to chuck it in the bin. But we put the airflow one that they had in the RX7 back in, because when we actually did the 255, we did an extra earth, upgraded the earth. And when we put that pump back in, it actually did do all right for a little while. Again, just sort of treating it back up on gate pressure, just with a decent base pressure and trying to get it to where we wanted it. But we just found that back-to-back runs, it was just right at the end, it's starting to get just a little bit leaner each time. And so we've just sort of aborted tune for now. There's a few things to sort out. The fuel tank we found when we were pulling the pumps out and stuff is actually like really dirty in there. So the boys are going to just pull the fuel tank out, completely clean it out, replace the filter and get a new pump, and then it'll be back here. But nonetheless, sorry for not filming any actual power ons for you guys. It's just been a full-on day of just trying to get it sorted. But nevertheless, even at gate pressure, still haven't even touched the timing, just getting this fuel curve right, as you can see. Each run we were just getting just a little bit leaner each time, so just sort of getting out of it, and just decided to abort tune until it's ready to come back. But as you can see, you know, 415, 420 wheel, ungate pressure with no timing. That's at 18 psi, as you can see. 18 psi here, follow that line across. Maybe hitting 19 psi there, right at the end at our 420. So this thing is going to be a monster. So that's, yeah, Forge 1J 272 cams, and 3076.8. So yeah, it's going to be wild. We're probably looking at getting close to our sort of 440 wheel, 450 wheel, just with timing on 18 pound. And we've talked to John and Matt, and that's pretty much where they're gonna leave it. They're pretty happy to leave it at 18 pound. You know, the RX-7 is not a very big car, it's not a very heavy car, and it's a street car. It's planned to be a street car, so it's going to be a menace. All we're going to do is obviously having it being controlled by the Mac valve. We're just going to wind in boost a little earlier, try and get this 18 psi sort of straight up off the bat here, try and get it to 18 and then over, just to get that little bit more mid-range in there. But yeah, that's where we've left it for now. Unfortunately, it's just teething issues, as we all know. With fresh builds, it always happens. There are always teething issues. It is just a consequence of being into cars and building cars. But very, very excited to get this thing back here again and get it finished off. You know, there's still a lot left in it as well. 18 PSI is not all that's there. You know, we could probably look at going sort of 21, 22 PSI and still be within the efficiency range of this turbo, which is really good. But like I was saying to you guys, we're starting to get to the limits then of the stock head bolts, I believe. I'm sure there's probably people out there who would disagree, but it's starting to make me a bit nervous getting around that high on the stock head bolts. And you know, R154, and at the end of the day, it's up to the owners how far they want to push the car. As tuners, you know, we can only give recommendations. We can't just go hijacking people's cars and doing what we want with them. So yeah, we're still looking at, yeah, mid 400s of the wheels on pump, like just 98, which is just freaking awesome.
Yeah, like Max was saying, we're keen to do the sort of 180 slide.
Alrighty guys, that's going to be it for today. So yeah, but obviously, knowing the boys, the RX7 should be back pretty soon, and as long as that dyno doesn't shit the bed again, it should actually be soon. So tune back in for the next one, get our final power figures for this car. I'll actually make sure I film some power runs once I start getting to that point where we're trying to get some timing into it. And yeah, we'll see what we can actually get out of this thing. So I'm hoping that if we're going to stick at 18 pound, I'm sort of hoping, I reckon 440 is going to be pretty good. And that would just be menacing. So anyway, thanks for watching. Smash like, smash subscribe. Go and follow Matt, Nightworks Drifting. He's got a YouTube as well. I didn't realise the last time.
I don't post anything.
You don't post anything on YouTube?
Not often.
No, okay. Well, he does have a YouTube, so go subscribe anyway. One day he might get motivated and start making some videos. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. Peace out. See you, bye.